wake up in rain cloud status, what's the mission? Find a pair of shoes because the ice still glistening. Won't go back, gotta march on persistent. Walk the broken glass path barefoot with no bitching. Raleigh and C, 1999's winter. Stranded in the capital, the gradiness is factual. Always had a place to sleep, but no home. Writing rhymes and independent accurate when I'm alone. The gloss of Jack Frost vibrating through my bones. Rock a kung fu suit and do-rag cruising the zone. I came up from busted noses, bloody knuckles, dead roses. The only solid factor is my fighting poses. I gotta make it, there is no other option. The hustlers on the corner do their thing non-stop, and I've never been a gangster, but I married the streets on this particular page of my life. This shit is deeper than the ocean of tears. People cried over the years. Eliminate the gag reflex, swallowing fears. Enemies and friends to me, smile ear to ear. Cold shoulders in the seat next to my cold beer. I'm a student of life with a do-it-yourself kit, and anybody disrespecting mine to get dealt with. Some of the situations scoring below the belt hit, and the growing pains of life let me know that I felt it. Experience made me want to rename the cool job or whatever. I grab a hold of whatever's available. My people's always hold me down. It never fails, yo. Along the hard times and all the rawness. My cycle of life ran me across some goddesses. Shadow boxer, champion behind the mirror. My purpose in life became a little bit clearer. Used to be God-fearer, transformed to God fist. All the poison in the world couldn't imagine trying to stop this. A new mentality, but still I'm a drifter. Survival of the fittest, you can call me the mixer. From a run-down shack with the cat named Chicken. Or scratching for some change when my possessions are missing. Or trekking for some breakfast after hours of tripping. I reminisce a little with the gap these bridges that I mentioned. Nobody can touch this squad. I got a whole group of talented professionals, God, that we have been through hell. But life's not fair though. I guess that everybody's got a homeless scarecrow.
Spit in my face, can't let you close to me. This ain't kid and play. I smell pussy. Garfield in the field, now you fucking with Odin. I'm a dog, without a collar, homie. Yeah, they can't hold me back. Niggas on a leash, just a squirrel trying to get a nut, barking up the wrong tree. You with them pecans, baby. Yeah, you looking like that. Niggas ain't got flavor. Call up my red roll, about to get your head swole. Let that money stole your soul, let the truth be told. I don't bend, I don't fold, I don't break, shake something. Make a cake for you fake ass niggas. Take money. Got your pistol on your hip, yeah, I see you making noise. So you niggas think you slick, I'm still riding with the stick. Birmingham, Barracuda, my nigga Tuscaloosa. Chop your head like Medusa, put your shit off in the cooler. Chill, for real, with all that stunning and flossing. You ain't baby, I ain't Lil Wayne, so bitch, you get off me. Tonight I watch the sky, I take another breath. I smoke out the board to the right like it's the last motherfucker left. Just me and you evading enemies, bet you get my last shot of Hennessy. Ain't never had a friend like me. Mental, I forgot I had haters. They rather see me dead, but bitch, I'm still here. It's more than rap. This really just a lifestyle. Stuck in your trap, you let yourself down. I'm about my 99 problems, cause they know I'm the one. Get my collar, I holler, ride off in the sun. Burger King, you can have it your way, but I'm so logical. They be flipping, they be tripping, I can't fuck with them obstacles. Ric Flair, nigga. Back to reality, ain't no maybe, baby. Now you see it for yourself. The fuck you doing lately? They be watching, I can see it. Like burning some bridges that'll walk lightly. Just might fall off that bitch. Was lost to be found. You can't hold me down, let it go like us. You can never take the crown. Call me Joffrey or Mufasa, just not your enemy. Even Tupac said it. You never had a friend like me. You ain't never had a friend like me. You ain't never had a friend like me. Huh? What's happening?
Welcome to Blended Healing. Let's talk about men and fatherhood. This is not a bashing session. This is a session where we got to keep it a buck. We got to tell the truth because some of our men are getting a bad rap, and that shit ain't cool. This is what I do know. We do have an effect on Black men. There has been a lot of discussion about toxic masculinity, and many sisters are definitely disappointed, though supportive, at the state of the Black men. We don't appreciate not feeling beautiful to them. We don't appreciate the abuse and their part in that our culture. Though the misogyny may not be a part of them, we are disappointed that they have picked it up throughout the generations of us being in this nation. We don't understand the weaknesses in our men and want it rectified. We want to feel protected and supported by our men personally and in community. It is even important to note that some of us feel this way regardless of whatever them statistics say. Our own personal experiences have shaped, and in some case even jaded, our depiction of our men. In saying that, we feel the same has happened to them. Too many of us don't know how we can help save our men, nor return them to our homes. Though some may get ready to argue, we're tired of saving Black men. It's important to note that we are not saving them, but we can do this for our sons. You see, honesty is a virtue that is often demanded, yet it is equally required. Black men were once Black boys that have fathers that need to step up to the plate and raise their sons to be Black, strong men. The fathers have fathers that should have stepped up to the plate and raised their sons to be strong Black men. And had that happen, the men we have now would be strong. This is a round table argument that should be done in a home. But the only problem is that it leaves out the mother. Black women, we have a direct effect on our Black men because they give birth to them. We give birth to the Black man. Black men need to evaluate their role in fatherhood to better assist their sons. And mothers, we must do the same. Some of us must be honest with ourselves and do what is in the best interest of our son. Meaning, some fathers are good men and want to be good fathers, but because for whatever reason, the relationship that we have with that man has ended, and we cut the relationship because we don't want to deal with them for whatever reason, and then we end up cutting that relationship between the father and the son. This is the easiest area to address. As mothers, our primary concern has to be the well-being of our child. If the dad is trying to raise his son properly, let him do that. So your son does not become the black men that you talk about. Raising a black son in America is hard, whether both parents are in the home or not. That's an acknowledged thing. And that there are many fathers raising children as single parents, more than you realize. As mothers, we love our kids equally. Raising a son and a daughter is a bit different. We want our sons to be strong, yet we have an urge to shield them from everything, even the things that they need to face. There's going to be days that we feel fathers are too hard on their son. Sometimes what the father is trying to teach him is how to be a man. Ladies, this is something that we just can't do. We can teach our sons compassion and nurture them, but we don't create the man in them. But we are tasked with validating their manhood to the best of our ability. We must pour into them the things that will cause them not to be everything that we are all upset about. We must allow them to understand the importance of choices and protect them, but not to the point that we break them. We must allow them to understand the importance of their choices and protect them, but not to the point that we break them. We must demand they be gentlemen and defend them ferociously when girls threaten that teaching. One way to deal with toxic masculinity is by showing him his body and personal space is just as valuable as a girl. You know? He is in a punching bag. And he's not to be sucked, and he's not to suck it up. Reacting for him in the same manner when we do our daughters are violated will help nurture his humanity. As mothers, we must show them grace, class, culture, beauty, and the sheer power and beauty of a black woman. The first encounter they will have with these things is us. And even though society will push another image of beauty to them, their mother is still God in the eyes of a child. And mother is the ultimate goddess in their eyes. We must work to be the best versions of ourselves for us and for our children. If our sons grow up hearing us talk down to them, not care how we represent ourselves or them, excuse me, and feed them negativity, we can blame them when they bring someone else home. You feel me? They are basically running from us and running from black women in general, not realizing that we are not the end all be all. Because dad has a part to play in this too. And we can't forget that over 80% of married black men are married to black women. But both parents must do their best for their kids. We must have the strength to evaluate ourselves and what is happening to our kids and why the expectations of our sons are not being met. Our sons are precious, affectionate, smart, and strong. We can see our strength in them and the strength of their father as well. And when we pick them up from school, they will light up when they see either one of us. Don't ask him to turn it down. Expect your son to be respectful. Demand he respects other men and women. He is being taught to be a gentleman, and all that life in this 3D world is precious. He needs to understand that the greatness of a black woman, not only from his father, grandfathers, and uncles, but from his mother, his grandmother, and aunts, charging his father with making him a man. And even on days that it's hard to watch because that's our child, our little one. But if we stand in solidarity with right teaching, because we know manhood is not something that we can give them as women. But when he looks in our eyes, he will know that we expect and see greatness in him. We have an effect on black men because we give birth to the boys that will one day be men, husbands, and fathers. And as mothers, we can instill plenty in them and expect greatness of them as we better ourselves every day. We should expect no less from our sons as we do our daughters. We can truly help save our men by how we raise and interact with our sons. See, from a kid's perspective, it's been a long-standing conversation that boys need their fathers to become the best as they can as men. We understand that. And we do agree on many levels about that. Girls, on the other hand, need their father too. And as we become women, we still need our daddy. Though our mothers teach us so much about womanhood and how to grow into it, fathers have a very special place in the foundations of who we are. I had a fantastic father with plenty of flaws. But when I tell you the measure of a man and the things that he instilled in us as a man, it's irreplaceable. You see, the importance of having a strong, protective, understanding father can often be played down where girls are concerned. Knowing that someone will fight for you no matter the challenge, and that you are worth the flowers and the fuss is just part of what makes a father special. Dads tend to do things very differently from mothers, but it makes for a balanced kid. And in some areas, dads just might be more laid back. But on the other hand, they can make you tough. Dads can explain things to you and give you thought patterns of a man to who you may come across because he's one. He can shape your expectations regarding men later in life. He can explain to a degree why you would want to present yourself as a lady with grace versus then being a lesser presentation. You feel me? His conversations of the importance of self-worth is definitely different than that of a woman. You see, our mothers are very capable of comforting us when we hurt as they gave birth to us. However, being able to go to your dad when your heart hurts is special. Some of us are not daddy's girls because we are spoiled. Well, I can argue that. I was a daddy's girl, but I was spoiled as hell. But he allowed me and offered me to have that. Sometimes daddy girls, because we maybe even be the female embodiment of our father. You ever grow up hearing your mom say, "You just like your daddy"? I got that all day, every day. Which means that my daddy, he knew me because he knew himself. And I was like, and that creates a very special bond. You see, for some of us, the foundation of who we are is drawn in large from our father. He just tends to understand and he knows what to say. Granted, we go through that phase where dad could seem a little overbearing when it came to dating, but he just didn't want to see us hurt. Did you ever realize that it would hurt him deeply to see us cry? If you had this in a father, it's to be cherished. And we must fight for young girls to have such things. The love of a father is different than of a mother, and both are so greatly needed. Sometimes we just don't understand how much of a force our Father has been in our life until we lose him. My father was fierce. Not in that type of way, but he was a man's man, you know. He didn't take no nonsense. He believed in integrity. He believed in standing up for what was right. He believed in you, weighing your options and analyzing shit before you pop off. Because he knew that when you popped off, because it took a lot for him to pop off, but when he did, ooh wee. So I would say I get that from my daddy. Takes a lot. But here's the thing. What you can learn from your dad is your will is stronger than your opposition. And there is nothing that you couldn't conquer. Your father can remind you that excuses can destroy your life and that they're unacceptable. Your father can make sure that you understood that if a man was not willing to cherish your worth, he wasn't worthy of your hand. And trust and believe your father's not going to give you away to an idiot. Your dad understands your passions, some of them, as he drills emotional and mental toughness into you. Your dad can be your confidant, somebody that you can tell all things to without being judged. You could always count on your dad to tell him and for him to tell you the truth with no filters. But you always knew that he would be in your corner. Your drive, your drive can very much so be from your dad. Some of us are blessed to say that we have amazing fathers, and facing days without them is hard. We need our dads. We need our fathers too. They are necessary in our life for so many reasons, just as we encourage the men in our community to make men of our sons, to be fathers. We must encourage them to be the shields and the protectors of their daughters that need them. Fathers are irreplaceable, and they provide a unique love and support that is unique to them. But I don't want you to get it twisted. Sometimes fathers don't have to be blood related. And that type of a father is truly special indeed, to take on another man's child as their own. Our men, our brothers, they need to know. They need to know, and they need to be an active participant in the life of their children. Because there's some things that you don't even realize. that black fathers do cry in the dark. Every black person we see killed, be it in the streets or in our home, is somebody's child. There is a narrative out there that is often lost in discussion among the lost among our people. It is to understand that the love of a mother is unmatched, and we bear our babies in our bodies hours in the first heartbeat that they will ever hear. And for many of us sisters, that process of labor and delivery is grueling and can very easily turn into a battle simply just to stay alive. And given the process, excuse me, of our babies, precious to us, and the wailing of a mother losing her child, regardless of their age, is gut-wrenching sound that you never want to hear. A person calling for their mother is pleading. We all know that can never be forgotten. Regardless of what kind of mother she was or is, we still stand and weep with our sisters. The character as a woman will not be put on trial as she mourns her child. We simply will not stand for that. The bottom line is we will not hear of anyone trying to alter the narrative. Her child should not be dead. The thing is, I'm talking too much and I need to drink. I apologize. The thing is there's a missing part of the picture. There's another grieving, crying, angry, and broken person. And that's the father. Men don't carry the babies. But they are just as much as a parent as a mother. They can nurture their children. They love their kids. And their children are dying. Our people being killed due to police brutality and racism affects all black parents. And just because the black father's story is not being told does not mean it does not exist. As he may be concerned about being stopped by the police and being executed, he fears the same for his kids. When we see our people protesting, don't allow the media to spin a one-sided narrative. Black men, fathers, are there, marching alongside black mothers, whether you see them or not. We are not alone in this story. It is often told that we are. And some of us are now the perpetrators of that narrative. Boof. Far too often, personal situations become a narrative for black fathers in general in a way that we won't tolerate with mothers. We got to balance that narrative for the betterment of our people and our children. Yes, black men should make no excuses for not being active fathers in the lives of their children. It is also important to recognize that black men are more present and active hands on in lives of their children than many other groups. Bet you didn't even know that. See, that's important for you to understand because it defies the narrative that they are simply absent. And with that being said, fathers should not have roadblocks that are mothers. You see, both situations are conversations for different day because none of that really matters when you have a lost child. It's especially important that we as mothers do not gatekeep loss and grief. It's not so much a conscious-minded position. However, if we allow the roles of the fathers to be diminished, attacked, and we take part in such a thing, we will end up gatekeeping the loss of children. Men are usually excluded from these conversations at large. The bottom line is their seat at the table for this discussion must come through the bearer of life. We might not find this to be fair, but the attacks on Black fatherhood mean that our men are weeping in the dark. Every name we call came from a mother and a father. We must deal with the murder of our people, our children as one. Black women and men need each other in this space now more than ever. Fathers must come out of the dark. Their cries as a parent need to be heard, and their parental suffering will need healing just as much as our own. A father deeply fears getting a phone call that something had happened to one of his kids. You see, what you don't realize is that they would have gladly murdered somebody for you, for the child, without any thought or consequence. And if they ever get that dreaded phone call, thank God, in some cases the calls may not be fatal. But the child in today's world can be assaulted by racist people and could have been beaten. Our men cry because they are afraid. They are afraid for the health of their children. Fathers may not even want to eat, can't even sleep. The unspeakable anguish from the depths of their souls as they hurt and enrage as the mother is praying for the sheer rage seething in the father's chest. That man gonna stroke out. Some of us have listened to the wails of a Black man in ways that have torn our soul into pieces. Some of us have sat with them as they broke down over the loss of their kids. Children they lost in numerous ways. And once they left or leave that space, they have to bottle it up, because outside of a few souls, all considered for grief reserved is for the mother. There is an unspoken demand that they be strong for her, for us, and don't make it about them, because she lost her baby, but so did he. And far too often our men were left broken in the darkness with the battles that they are fighting right now. We can't stand together if everyone is not on their feet. It's going to take all of us to unite, to simply stay on our feet, and to get through whatever lies ahead of us as we continue to battle for our own humanity in this country. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm talking about the state of our men, because they need to know. It's time for them to come together so we can encourage each other to give our children a fair opportunity to know their father. Far too often, we pass off personal, individual experience as a state of our people overall. There are men out there fighting to be parents outside of merely financial obligation. Do you hear what I'm saying? There are sisters that purposely make it difficult for fathers to be in the life of their kids because of the relationship between them went south. And here we are, continuing to fight for equality. We must hold ourselves accountable to the same standard that we expect. Having a baby doesn't give us the right to block the parental rights of a father until we are ready for them to participate. There are many sisters that will make the argument that many men are given the opportunity to be fathers and they choose not to. Yeah, we get that too in some cases. But like I told you before, Black men are more involved in the lives of their children than any other groups. They're not merely the deadbeat society would like to make us believe that they are. You got to keep it true. We have to understand that we don't want to begin the discussion of mothers that aren't there for their kids. It's hard for women that are good mothers to understand that many women are not. Many children have met their end because their moms were negligent. And the courts want to fight the father that's fighting to get custody of their own kid. Even with all the discussion, there is one particular area that we as women have to consider. Regardless of the fear of rejection, that we have consensual sex with a man and become pregnant, he needs to know. We can't talk about absent fathers if the man doesn't even know he's a father. No matter how upset you might be with that man or the nature of the relationship that you have with that man, he is half the DNA of that created child, and he should be given the right to be a parent. And keeping that secret is selfish when you consider the kid. You'll be raising a kid that is missing part of themselves because of the decision that you made. Even if you end up in a great relationship with another man that accepts your kid as his own, he's still not the biological daddy. And one day that kid is going to find themselves searching for the father that they feel that abandoned them, not knowing the real truth. You see, you risk hurting your relationship with said child when they find out that their father never even knew that they existed. And if the person you are with is unaware of that, then you put them in a bad situation for raising a kid that is still searching. A child that may no longer want to refer to him as dad. And if that child faces health challenges or needs, and there's another half of them that you have dismissed, it's important to know the medical history of both sides of one's family, if it's possible. And I'm going to end with this. As mothers, it's very important that we are fair to our children. This means giving them a fair opportunity to have a positive relationship with their father. Granted, there are situations where men will decide that they don't want to be a part of the kid's life, as some women have also. And that has to be handled in a way to protect the child as much as possible. But not wanting anything to do with a man because the relationship didn't just work out and there's no reason to hide a child from him. Not only does he need to know, he has a right to know. The mama's baby daddies, maybe, that needs to die. That saying needs to die. As parents, we must all do our part to ensure that our children have everything that they need. And I'm done. I talked a lot. I said a lot. I said an awful lot. I thank y'all for stopping by Blended Healing. Like I said, this was not a bashing session against our men. This was an understanding about men and fatherhood. Something that we don't talk about. And it needed to be said. So thank you for stopping by. Deep bow to each and every one of you. Be safe, be safe, be safe. Ashe and deep bow. And I shall see you all very, very soon.
Inside the wonders of my mind, I can feel your energy vibration. Feels like we've been perfectly aligned. Or maybe it's all my imagination. Thoughts of us becoming more than this. Thoughts of living life where we explore and don't exist. I don't mean to reminisce, but we could. We could rise above below, no hesitation. Connect our body, mind, and soul. meditation. I don't really understand, I don't know, but you seem to be the why in my emotions. I've been thinking, guessing, like I've been sinning. Now I'm confessing, I'm lost inside the wonders of my mind. Feels like we've been perfectly alive.